we need to create the profile, we have to clone that profile, right? So simply just have to go over the standard platform as we were working on the standard platform users, right? So when we are creating the standard platform user, just we have cloned this profile and we have made these two profiles, right? And we have given the permissions which we required, like senior manager can see the standard users records. Then okay, were talking about the objects and right. So whenever we are talking about the objects, we'll first thing it comes under is like we will we can restrict the person by the, just uh, whether he should be able to see that object or not, right? So in that case, we will be doing that thing over here. So here you can see if suppose I'm going to the senior manager or we have anyway we have given all the permissions to the senior manager. If suppose we are going to the standard user, we have restricted the standard user for some particular objects. If you scroll down, there you can see the custom object. In the custom object, you might be able to see custom tabs is this is then scroll down, there you'll find custom objects as well. So here you can see now in the down there is a custom object. So which profile is this? This is, sorry, this is standard user. uh, we need to go to the technical analyst profile, right? So standard technical analyst profile was there. So yes, this profile we have created, right? So let's go and see that what kind of permissions are there for the technical analyst. So here you can see we restricted that user by he should not be able to see the activity object, so he'll not be able to see it. Then we have seen that department, we just have given the read access so that he can see, he can't create and he can't edit, right? So these are the things which we have restricted by using these three things. Okay, then you can see employees, he can read and create, but he won't be able to edit or delete it, correct? Then for the project and project task, we have allowed all the permissions for him. So the technical analyst can do whatever he wants in the projects and project tasks. So in this way, you can restrict the user by just see the objects. Okay, whether if you want to hide some fields from the user, even though you can do that thing also. Okay. So this was the thing what the about the profiles. Then if you want to open up the accessibility, then how we open up the accessibility? By giving the permission sets. Okay. So how you can give the permission set? So just have to go for the in the permission sets, and you have to, as we have created the new permission set, and then you have to give we have to select the object for which object you want to work. So just select that object, and then it will be asking what kind of permissions you have to give. So for the if suppose we are selecting the activity object, so that technical analyst person should be able to see that activity. We should not be able to create it, edit it, or delete it. Then what he'll be doing? So he can we have checked the checkbox of that read, and we have given the permission. And then afterwards, it was reflecting with the button as a manage assignment. So we, by clicking on the manage assignment, we have assigned one user, which user we are having the technical analyst profile, correct? So we have given that permission to that user. Then afterwards, we have seen the uh, sharing settings. Sharing settings means the organization-wide default. Here you can see organization-wide default. In the organization-wide default, we have seen these three things: private, public read only, and public read write. By default, it will having the public read write when we see that sharing settings. But if you want to give the read access only for that specific user, then he will be able to just read that records. He won't be able to create, he won't be able to edit. Okay. Then in this case, but when we keep the sharing setting organization wide default as in private, then no user will be able to see that records of each other, right? So we have seen that system administrator's record will not be able to see by the technical analyst or senior manager as well. But senior managers record are able to see it by the system administrator. Why? Because system administrator is having the maximum privilege over there, right? As we have discussed that thing also by yesterday. And then we have seen that how we can open up this strict necessity of that security. So we have seen the role hierarchy. So what does this role hierarchy do? Like we have created the two roles over there, which was the senior manager as well as the technical analyst person. Okay, so what we have done, we have created the hierarchy below the technical person, and then we have created one senior manager over there, and below that senior manager, we have created the technical analyst person, right? So in that scenario, what will happen? We will be giving means that senior manager will be having the access to the technical analyst record, correct? And then we have seen that anyway that the system administrator is having the all access so that he can access all the records of the senior manager as well as the technical analyst, correct? So with this role hierarchy also we have opened up the security. Then we have seen the manual sharing as well, how we can share the individual record to that individual user, correct? So if suppose we want to do some work on that particular record, so what I'll be doing, I'll simply select that record, I will open that record, and there in the drop down it will be showing an option of sharing. Then it will show me the option of sharing, correct? So as soon as I'm clicking on that sharing, it will directly share that record to the that specific user, whether he is a technical analyst or whether he is a manager, correct? So that is the thing which we can do by the manual sharing. Then we have to see the sharing rules. How does this sharing rules works? But we'll start with this first with the another part, which is the uh, what do we call it as a flows, right? So first we'll be starting by the flows, then we'll move, then if time is there, then we'll move to the sharing rules. Okay. So don't worry, I will take that thing also. No need to worry about that. Okay. So first, this see, whenever we talk about the flows, this is the very most important topic in the Salesforce. Why? Because this flow is such a powerful tool that it can eliminate the piece of code over there, right? So whenever if you are knowing these flows, it is better to understand that how does this flow works, right? See, what does this flow works? It is totally works on the automation. It is an automation tool, right? So this is very handy tool to use. If suppose you want to avoid coding, then if you are very strong at these flows, then you can easily manage these things by just doing these flows. Okay. If you are feeling like it is very similar to the Apex classes as well as the triggers in the Salesforce org, right? If you want to create some automations, you can easily create that automation by using the flows. Okay. So this is the way, as I'm repeating again, this is very handy tool to use. Okay. If you don't know some Apex class and triggers, somewhat of Apex class and most of the triggers, then you should be able to do these flows. That flow can overcome this trigger as well as the some part of an Apex class, right? So yes, let's see that what is flows first. So flows is a Salesforce. Flows in Salesforce are powerful tool that allows you to automate and streamline business process by creating interactive and guided experience. A flow is a declarative application that guides user through a series of screens, collects data, performs actions, and interacts with the Salesforce records and objects. Now, you might be thinking that what kind of things are there in this definition? It is very simple. Just try to understand this. What kind of automations might be happening over here? You just think it like how we can make the work easy for the customer or a client, right? To store their data. So storing the data means what? Some some fields should get automatically populated. itself, whenever we are creating some fields, whenever we are populating some fields manually, then my requirement is that some fields should get automatically populated, right? So we'll see slowly that how does this flows work. Okay, we'll see with the standard object, and then we'll see with the custom object, and then we'll move to the another trigger, another flow, right? So there are the some key features of this capabilities of the flows in Salesforce. So it can do the Salesforce screen based interaction, then business logic, data manipulation, integration, automation, and flow triggers, right? So these are the very key features. We will see these things in very deep detail when we will see the examples of these flows. Okay, so yes, let's move to the org and then we'll see it. So very first type of this is screen flow. So we will look into the screen flow and record triggered flow. Okay, then we'll see the how does it works. And whenever we do this two to three types of flow, then it will automatically created in the auto launch flow only. Okay, so there is no need of writing the trigger code over there. It can overcome. If you feel comfortable writing the code, then you can write the code as well. If you feel that you can do best practice in the flows, then you can go for the flows. But the very first thing to note over here is that whenever you have to do something, first, think about the configuration part. How you can manage the things with the configuration part. If you are not able to do these things with the configuration part, then only you have to go to the then only you have to go through the developer part. Okay. Again, I am repeating this thing. See, this is very important. If you, it doesn't mean that you know code, then you directly jump into the code and you do the automation. No, that is not the requirement here. If you can manage the things by just doing the configuration part, then you just complete the configuration part by using the automation tools or whatever the admin work is there. So you can do that, and then only you can go for the developer part. If you are feeling that you are not able to do that by just these things, then you can go for the developer part and you can code by yourself. Okay, so this is the requirement for the building an application. So very first flow in the automation is like screen flow. Okay, so the screen flow we'll see the first as a screen flow only. So here you can see there is a screen flow in a Salesforce is a type of flow that guides user through a series of screens to collect the data or perform a specific actions. It provides a visual interface for users to interact with and enter information, creating a guided experience within an application or process. Here are some key features of components of ScreenFlow. So, like whenever we are using the ScreenFlow, we can even create the record, and even if you want to store that particular component of that into the particular record, then you can add that flow into that record page as well as you can create the quick actions of that flows as well. Okay, so whenever you want to do some very easy part by doing these automations, you can use it. And if you want to enter the informations regarding the specific records, you can enter that things as well. Okay, so it is a very good and effective way to use this by using the screen flow. Correct. Then here you can see screens are building the blocks of screen flow. Each screen represents a step in the flow and contains a fields, buttons, and other interactions elements for data input or display. Screens can customize to fit the specific needs of the flow, such as displaying instructions, gathering users' input, and or presenting the informations. Correct. So you might be getting by these points. Even if you want to work for some specific fields, you can work for that fields. Then, if you want to do create some automations by clicking some buttons, then you can do that as well. Okay, then there are some elements and there are some resources. You just have to work on that, and then that is easy to generate the screen flows. Now we have seen lots of theory works over here. You might be getting bored, so let us create the uh, how we can create these flows, right? So let us move to the org first. Okay. So yes, so here, whenever we are going to some configuration part, first thing, note down this. Whenever we have to do some configuration part, we just have to click on this gear icon, and then you have to click on the setup. Then whatever the things you need to do, either you will be doing in the object manager or either in the home tab where you can see the all the setup configuration points over here, right? Then in the quick find box, what you have to do, you just have to search for the flows. Okay. So I hope everyone is following this thing. So please pay attention, guys. Okay. So here you can see there is a process automation called flows. See, before flow coming into this picture, there were lots of automation tools. There were workflow rules, there were process builders, right? So what happened to these two things? This flow overcame in such a way that this one flow can handle all the two workflows as well as process builders. So whatever the things which were there in the workflows and process builder, they came into the flows. Okay, I'm repeating again. Before this flow, there were two automation tools which were the workflow rules and process builder rules, process builders. Process builders were such a way that you can create, you can update, but you can't automate in such a way that if you want to populate another field by using one field. Okay, I'll show you what I'm saying that. I'll explain you that in a deeply. Okay, so just first for now, just click on the flows. Okay, click on the flows, and what you have to do, you just have to uh, see what we can do. So flows are being selected. Now you will be able to see this interface on over here whenever you click on the flows. Okay, so yes, in this flow here you can see. So now we have to create the flows over here, right? So how you will be creating? Just click on this new flow. Okay, then as soon as you are clicking on the flows, as soon as you are clicking on the flow, okay, it will pop up one window over here. Okay, still it is loading. Okay, so here you can see it is showing this window. Now here it is asking, here you can see that there are multiple flows. You can see screen flow, record triggered flow, schedule triggered flow, platform event triggered flow, auto launch flow, and record triggered orchestration. Okay, so these are the six triggers, but it is getting converted automatically with this auto launch flow only. When there you no need to write the piece of code. So we'll see the screen flow first. So here you can see guides the users through a business process that's launched from Lightning pages to Lightning pages, experience cloud sites, quick actions, and many more. As I told you that wherever you want to do, wherever you want to insert that flows, you can insert it. So you can add that flows in the Lightning pages, then you can add that in the experience cloud sites, then in the quick actions and many more, right? So these were the things which we have done. So we will create it. But before creating this screen flow, I want to make some fields in the objects, then I can utilize that fields. Okay. So what I'll be doing, I'll quickly move to the organization. Okay. So organization management application. So let's go to that app. So here you can see, let me check what fields we have included in that object. So now what we are doing, we will work on the employee and activities object. Okay. So what is my requirement over here? Whenever I am creating this, whenever, see, if suppose here, if we are going to the employee object, and if suppose I'm moving to this Uday's record in the related, you can see there is only one activity. My requirement is there in such a way that whenever I am creating the department, see, I'm repeating this thing. whenever I am creating the department, what will happen? This department should get associated automatically as soon as I am creating this department. See, sorry, whenever I am creating this activity, listen once again. I will listen once again carefully. See, as activity is included, as activity is there related with the employee. If suppose I am selecting any game over here, and here you can see there is an employee field which is reflecting. Then if suppose I am selecting the Uday, then this record will be visible in the employee object. See, if suppose I am going to the employees record and I am opening this Uday's record and I am moving to the related one, so here you can see, okay, there is another record with the Uday name. So if suppose I'm moving to the down one and I'm moving to the related, so here I can see the 005, which is populated with the Uday's record. Now, the thing is how this can be happen. So we can create this by automation. So I will add that flow over here, and I simply by adding that flow, whenever I'm creating that activity, it will automatically will be stored into this activities over here. See, I'm repeating this once again. If you are not able to understand this thing what I'm saying, see, I will add that flow over here on this record page. As soon as I'm adding that record flow in this page, what will happen? I will populate that fields. As soon as I'm populating that field, it will, and I'm finishing that thing, then it will get stored over here. Okay. Till here, everything is clear, right? Now let's go and create the some fields which we need to create it. Okay. So let me check with the fields which are there or in this activity object. So there is a game field. Okay. There is only one field which we have created till here now over here. Okay. So let's do one thing. We create the some field which is like a start date or something description. Okay. So what we'll be doing? We'll move to the this object. So click on the gear icon. Here you can see edit object. So click on the edit object. Okay. As there is already present with the pick list, so no need to worry about that. Then what we'll be doing? We'll select the fields and relationship. And we have to create the field, right? So we'll quickly create the fields as everyone know that how we can create the fields, right? So I need to create the start date. Okay. So I'll select the start date quickly. So for the date, I have to select the date as a field data type. Then what I'll be doing, I'll be entering the field label as a start date. Okay. Then if it will automatically take the start date. Then if I want to make it as in required, so I'll make it as in required. Then I'll click on next. As soon as I'm clicking on next, it is asking for the profiles. Let it be as it is. Then click on next. Then save and new. Why? Because I need to create one more field over here. Okay. So specify the information. Again, I need to create. So what field I can create it over here? If suppose I want to create the field like a coach or something like that. So I'm just want some text field over there. And what I'll be doing, I'll simply click on next. So it is the text field, right? So I'll just create the field as in coach. Okay. Then it is asking for the length. So I'm just giving 25 characters. It can take it. Okay. Then, okay, I'll make this also required and then click on next. I'm making this fields purposely as in required. I'll show you why whenever we'll create that flow and I'll show you that thing. Okay. So I'll save this. So the required field which I want in that activity object I've created. Okay. So let's move to the activities. Let's refresh this page and let's see whether that fields are reflecting or not. Okay. So let's click on new. Let's quickly click on the indoor and then you will see games are there. So table tennis. So here you can see the employees and start date and coach. It is totally coming and it is showing star mark for the employee as well. Why? Because this thing because we are having the master detail relationship with an employee. Okay, so that's why it is mandatory to fill that field. Okay. Then let's go to the flows again and we'll create the flow over here. So this page was already open. So let's click on the new. Let's click on new. So let's click create screen flow. Okay, so screen flows is a it is a special type of flow which gives you a process that you can create user interface, and that user interface can interact with the users. Please pay attention. What I am saying this thing again. I'm saying this thing again, repeating these things. These, if you don't understand this use now, then you will be confused which flow to be used when. Okay, so please pay attention, guys. It is the special flow which gives you a process that which you can create the user interface. Okay, you can create the user interface, and that user interface can be interact with the users, so that user can provide some information on basis of that flow. Okay, on basis of that process, whatever it is being performed. Okay, so that is the thing we are doing in that flow, screen flow, right? So it guides you through the business process, whatever the business process which you are writing. So it will guide you for the business process, and it can be launched in Lightning pages. Then you, as I told you, it can be seen in the experience cloud sites as well, and then in the quick actions and many more things, right? So these are the things which we can see over there. Then talking about the screen flow. So in the screen flow, there are the two things which we need to take care of. First is the elements, and then the second are the resources. We'll see that what are the elements and what are the resources. Okay, as I told you. So we'll be seeing that how we can debug, how we can launch the flow, how we can activate the flow, how we can run the flow. Everything will be see, right? So for now, just let's create for our first screen flow. So here you can see whatever the resources which you create over here. This is the toolbox for that, correct? Then, if you want to select an element, you can select the elements. You can select the elements from here as well. Okay. So let me go back. Sorry, I came back from here. Okay. So here you can see there is an elements over here. So whatever the resources will be there, it will come with the resources. Okay. Then there are two types of layouts present over here. I will see this is one is the auto layout and another one is the free form. Here you can see there is a free form. Okay. So we will see that what is free form and what is this auto layout. First, for now, we'll keep it as an auto layout only. Then we'll convert this auto layout to free form. Okay. So let's begin now. Then if you, as I was talking about the elements, here you can see the resources. It will come up with the resources whenever we need to build. Then whenever we need to create the elements, you just have to click on this add elements. Okay. So here you can see there are multiple elements which are present over here. Okay. There are multiple elements present over here. Please pay attention, guys. These are the elements, whatever I was talking about. So here you can see these are all the elements like assignment, subflow, action, screen, collection, sort, collection filter. So these are the things which we can see over here, correct? Then suppose this screen interaction can be seen in the screen flow only. If you go to another flow, which is record triggered flow, auto launch flow, there you can't see this screen and all. Why? Because this is for the screen flow we are working, right? So let us create our first element over here. So I'll click on the screen. So here you can see as soon as I am clicking, I'm there. I've put my cursor on the screen. It is saying that collect information from display information to user who runs the flow. Okay. So whatever the information which is there need to be displayed on the user interface, it will be displayed by the user by using this flow. Okay. Then I'll click on this screen, and there you can see this user interface will be shown over here. Okay. This is the element. Okay, so this is the thing you can see, this is called as the screen builder. Okay, so whenever you click on that screen element, it will open the screen builder, and then here you can see all the components which you can see. You might be like little bit familiar to these things. Why? Because you have seen the field data types as well, right? So they are kind of similar to that things only, but they are not this that one. Okay, so these are all the components which we will be building over here, right? So let's see. It is asking for the screen property, means like whether what kind of label you need to give over here. So I'll create the this is the property screen. Whatever the properties which you are using, it will be getting reflected over here. So now this is the header property. Now here you can see there for the header properties, it asking for the label. So here you can see if suppose I'm writing this as an property one, so like I'll write is a prop one. Okay, then it will automatically take the API name. Okay, here you can see there is an API name. Then it is asking me the description. So I'm writing some description. It will display my first screen. Sorry. Now, what I need to show you, I will work on the standard object first, then I'll show you that how it works for the custom object. Okay. Now, please pay attention, guys. This will be repeated twice. Okay. So, first we'll see that how it will work for the standard objects, then we'll see for the custom object. What two standard objects should we take? Like contact and account. Okay. So, we'll see that contact and account. Then we'll see the uh, with the custom objects, which is the employee and activities. Okay, so let's move with the this thing. Okay, so I'm creating one screen over here. It will display my first screen. Okay, so I'm just taking this thing over here. So now I need to check what are the things which are available over here. So let me go to the application first. Let me check what are the things which are displayed in the sales app and accounts and contacts. So I need to take that thing very clearly. So I'll move to the sales application as I will work on the standard application first. So I'll need to check the what are the fields which are available in the accounts and contacts. Okay, so the contacts is a child. So I'll just see what are the fields which are available in the contacts. Okay, so I'll click on, so what I'll do, I'll click on the all contacts. Okay. Then I'll open up the one record over here. And openings, I want to see some fields which are mandatory. Okay. And the pick list or some dates available over here. So, okay. So as I can see over here that, or else let me create new. So it will be helpful for me. So I'll click on new. Now it is showing me that this name is important over here. This name is mandatory. Last name is mandatory. Okay. Then there is a birth date. Then there is a lead source. So I can select the lead source as well. So what I'll be doing over here, I will take three resources, which is the name. Okay, which is the name, the last name, then I will take the lead source as well. Okay, so these three fields I will be working on. Okay, so let's go and see that how we can do that. So let's go to the flows once again. So first we have created for our first screen. So it will be given with the label as in first screen label as in prop one. Then here you can see there is a footer as well. So if you want to remove the footers, if you want to configure these things, so like you can see, if you want to hide that header, then you can hide that header as well. Okay. So if I remove that, header is gone. Okay. So if I want to keep it, so it will show the header as well. Then if you want to display any help text, then you can simply show up the help text, and then you can simply add text. So like it will help you. It will provide an eye over there, and it will provide an information regarding that. So I know there is no need of using that thing. Okay, help text. Then it is asking for the configuration of the footer. So just scroll down whether you want to show that footer or not. If you uncheck this checkbox, then footer is gone. Okay. For now, I'll keep that footer, but I'll remove the previous and pause from here. How I can remove? See, I'll keep this next or finish button over here. I'll keep this finish or next button as it is. Okay. Then what I'll be doing, if I want to hide that thing also, so I can hide that, so that you can see that finish is gone, right? So I'll click on the use the standard label, correct? Then here you can see there is a previous button as well. So I want to use the I don't want that previous button, so I'll hide that. Okay. Then here you can see it is asking for the same for the pause button. So here with the radio button, I can simply hide that as well. I don't need that also. So for that, I just need the finish over here, correct? So nothing else is there in this particular screen builder over here, right? Now let us create three fields which are needed for the context, right? So what I'll be doing over here, simply selecting over here in the search component, that name was an text format, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll search for the text over here, text. So here you can see there is any within the input, it is showing that text. Okay. So what I'll be doing, I'll simply click over here and it will display the text. Correct. So as soon as I'm clicking on the text, now it is asking me the label. Now it is asking for the label over here, right? So in the label, it is asking what label you should give to this particular text. So I'm giving the label as an name over here. Okay. As soon as I'm clicking on the name, it will automatically take the API name. See, I'm repeating this thing again. See, if suppose I'm clicking on this header, then it will represent the header label and all, right? Then if suppose I'm clicking on this text, it will show the label for the this text only. Okay, so as you can see, I have given the name as an label, so it is getting reflected over here. Then again, I want another text, so I'll click on the text over here. Then it will display again one more field over here, which is the text, correct? Then I'll simply click on the label for this as well. So another field was last name, correct? So I've given the last name label as well. If you want to make this field as in required, so I'll keep it as a required. Again, if you want to make this name field as in required, again, you can fill this check in this checkbox and you can make it as in required, right? If you want to assign the some default value for that, even you can do that as well. But I don't want to give the default value. Then if you want to set some criterias or conditions in on that, then you can simply set that as well. So suppose if that condition is meeting, then only that field should get displayed, correct? So we can set that conditions as well over here, correct? Then I don't want to do that as well. If you want, sorry, if you want to put any validation rules over here, so you can simply use that validations for that as well, validate for validating the data. Then if you want to provide any help, so if suppose I'll show you that how does that help works. Okay, so if I create the help over here, which is the provide the provide the name to create the record, correct? Provide the record, provide the name to create the record. Okay, so this thing we have simply added over here. So how I'll show you that how does it works. Okay, so let's scroll down, error message, then provide a help. So yes, it is done. Okay, then we'll move to this. Okay, provide help. Super. Name, you have to insert report name. Okay, that's it. And then, okay, so this is fine. So we'll move to another field over here. Okay, here you can see there is a eye symbol. So whenever you will click over here, it will provide the information regarding whatever you want. Okay, so that is the thing where we can provide that help text over here. So we are done with these two fields. Now we will create the pick list, which was the lead source, right? So here you can see in the activity, where was the account object over there? Sales object. Okay, so recently viewed in the context, it was the lead source, right? So let us check where confirm whether that field is only the pick list. Uh, yes, lead source is on one. Okay, so go back to the flows. So go back to the flows. So here you can see we can add the pick list as well. So here you can see there is a pick list as well in the input. So just click on that input. Now here you can see it is asking for the pick list label as well. So now we have to give the label for the pick list also. So how we can give? Simply give the label as a lead source. Okay, give the label as a lead source, which is the same name as that of in the field present over there in the contacts, right? So I'm giving the label as an lead source and it is taking the API name over there. So here you can see, correct? So here you can see there is a lead source available over here, right? Now, if you want to make it this required, so you can make this required as well, correct? As soon as I'm making that required, it is asking me the data type. So it is a text data type only, correct? Now I'll scroll down and then here you can see there is a choice present over here. It in this choice, you have to select this choice field. See, it is mandatory. It is giving the star mark over here. So what does this resource means? See, if you can create the resource from here as well as you can create the resources from here also. Okay. The thing is, it is asking whether you want to add that pick list values manually by yourself or either whatever the values which are present in that contact object with the lead source. See, I'm repeating once again. This you might get it will quickly as I'm looking fast. See here you can see all the values: web, phone, inquiry, partner, referral, purchase list, others. So these are the values of this pick list. So if you want to enter the values manually, you can do that manually as well. And whether if you want to take this all values automatically, so you can do that as well. So how you can do that? So simply going to the flow builder, just click on over here, then it is asking for the choice, so just click it over here. Now here you can see it is saying that new choice resource. So what I'll be doing, I'll click on the new resource. Okay, now it is asking for the new resource type. What kind of resource is there? So is it a choice or is it a collection? So this is the pick list. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll click on the pick list. Correct. So here you can see it is taking the pick list choice set. Now it is asking for the API name. So what I'll be doing, giving the API name as an, I'll giving the API name as an contact lead source. Okay, so I'm giving the API name. Then it is asking for the which object this lead source belongs to. So I'll select the contact object, right? So here you can see there is a contact object, correct? Then the data type is pick list, right? So I'll select the pick list. It is not the multi pick list, so I'll just selected the pick list. Then it is asking for which field it works. So it works for the lead source. So here you can see there is a lead source. So just select that lead source, correct? So it is asking whether you want to give some sort of order, either it should be ascending or descending. I'm not keeping that. So I'll keep the by default, whatever it is showing, and then I'll click on the done. So it will create one resource, which is the contact lead source. Okay. So I'll click on done. So here you can see it is taking automatically, it has automatically generated the choice as a lead source. So I'll click on done. Now I have done created the one screen over here, right? correct? I have created three elements. I have created one element of screen flow, which where I've use the three components, okay, which are the three inputs over here: name, last name, and lead source. Okay. Why? Because these are the three mandatory fields present over here. And then I'll click on the done. Okay. Now here you can see with the screen of property one, we have completed, right? Now here you can see in the left side bar, here you can see whatever the things which we have created till now, it will show over here. Okay. So here you can see easily that what are the things which we have created. We have created one element, which is the property one in the with the screen element, right? Then we have created the screen component with the last name, lead source, and name. Correct. Then here you can see the pick list resource which we have created now, contact lead source, right? Now we have done with this two things, one thing over here as an property element. Now, how we can save this? We can simply click on the save button and it is asking for the flow label. So I'll give the contact to account, contact record to account. Okay, so it will automatically take the Flow API name. And what I'll be doing, I'll be giving some description over here so that uh, contact contact record will be displayed in the accounts related type. Okay, then I have given some description over here. Okay, okay. So I'll click on done. I'll click on save. Okay. Click on save. So now I have created one screen flow over here, right? Now, I want to insert these records in my particular contact object. How I can insert? I have to create some record, right? See, if suppose I'm clicking on this and I'm simply trying to debug this, it will debug, but it will not store the information in the contact object. So how I can make that thing possible? So for that, what I need to do, I need to create the record, right? See, I'll show you that if suppose I'm debugging this without activating, I'm just debugging this. This debug means you can see that how that flow is running, right? So I'll click on that. So it will open the new page over here. It will display the new page over here. Still, it is taking time. I need to open it once again. It is not displaying. So, okay, so we'll see that afterwards, after creating the records, how does that works? Okay, we try to run how it works. Still, it is not displaying. So, what will we do? Just click on that contract records. We'll create the records first. Okay, so click on the add element. Okay, after clicking on the add element, just scroll down and let me screen take this up. So here you can see there is a create records. So just click on the create records. Now it is asking for the label over here. So I'll be simply selecting the label for that. So what I'll be doing, um, all the selected contact fields. I'm just giving the random name over here, selected context field, which is should to be displayed. Now it is asking how many records you want to create. For now, I will just create one record only. You either if you want to create multiple records, so you can select the multiple records as well. So for now, I'm just selecting the multiple records. If I'm selecting one as in records to create, so I should use the separate resource and literal values. Okay, if I'm selecting this, then I just create the one record over here. Then if I'm suppose selecting the multiple records, then that will be useful to open up the collection. But for now, I'm just creating one. So I can create the one record with this. And then I'll use the use separate resource and the lateral values, right? Now it is asking me the object over here. So I need to select the object for which object I need to create the record. Correct. So what I'll be doing, I'll be selecting the contact object. Correct. So as we are working for the context object, right? So we'll be selecting the contact object, right? So now I have to select the fields which are there in the context object already, and the fields which we have created over here in the screen, right? Please pay attention, guys. I have to select the fields over here which are already there in the contact object. Then we have to select the fields which we have created in the screen, correct? So we'll display that. So first I'll be doing select the field from the context. So the field was name, right? So if suppose I select this name, okay, first name, okay, then I am simply selecting the name over here which I've given. So I'll select the name. Here you can see the screen component. In the under the screen component, I've created the name over here, right? Then then if I'm selecting another field over here, then in that field I'm taking the last name. Okay, so here you can see there is a last name, and I'm adding the value in the screen component, which is the last name over here. Correct. Then I have added that as well. Then whatever the fields which is there in the contact already, which is the lead source, right? So here you can see there is a lead source, and we have created one more lead source which is there. Okay, so we'll create that as well. So we have to take that lead source from here as well. So here you can see under the screen components, there is the lead source. So just select that. Okay. So we have created these three fields in that screen, correct? So we have populated that three fields. We have mapped that three fields with this already the three fields which are already there in the context. See, this is called as mapping over here, right? We are mapping the screen fields with the contact fields, okay, which are already there. Now we have done this. Okay, as soon as we click on this, so now we have to save this. Okay, we'll save this. Okay, so now let's try to debug this whether this is running or not. So let's check this thing first. Let me close the unnecessary tabs over here. So now I have saved that. Now I'll try to debug this. So as soon as I'm clicking on the debug, it is not opening once again. It is not displaying anything. Okay, we'll see that thing also later, or else what we'll be doing, we'll go back and we'll save this, and whether which version is working, we'll see that, and again we'll come back to see that whether that debug is working or not. Okay, so for now, let's focus on this thing. Now we have created this property one screen, and we have selected the uh, we have created one create records, and then we have created one flow over here. Now I want this flow should be displayed on the objects as well. Which object? Object records. Like if suppose the context is related to the accounts, so that flow should be visible in the accounts so that I can utilize that flow. Okay. If suppose I insert that component over here, flow component over here, then that flow will be visible in every page, every account record, right? If suppose I'm creating that contact, then it will be displayed over here in the contacts. Okay. So how I can make that thing possible is like I simply have to create that record first. I have to create one more resource over here so that I can match the IDs of that thing. See, why IDs are necessary over here. See, context is present over here. In that context, if suppose we click on new, and here you can see there is an account name, correct? There you can see is an account name. So account name means what? It will open the list of the account records which are there in the account object, right? So that account object is having some particular values in that. So if suppose I select the Burlington Textile in that context, which is having the account name field over there, then this account record is having this particular ID. So if this ID is getting mapped over there, then only that contact record will be getting displayed over here. Okay, I'm repeating this once again. See, if suppose I'm creating one contact over here, let me show you. If suppose I'm selecting the salutation over here, and I'm selecting some uh, name which is already there over here in the name, last name. Okay, then I'm selecting the account name, which is the Burlington Textile Corp. Okay, then I am saving this record. As soon as I'm saving this record, what will happen? What will happen in the accounts? If suppose I move to the accounts, here you can see. Let me check whether this account is with this cohort one only, or it got merged with another account. So that is fine. So as I've created the context record, I have the accounts as well. So I've selected the Burlington Textile over here. So I'll open it, and in the related here you can see the record which we have created, the records which we have created. Now here you can see there are three fields which are getting displayed over here. But for now, just see that that record which we have created in the context, it is coming into the accounts. Why it is coming into the context? Because it got the Burlington's ID, and the ID is nothing but this ID over here. Okay, so this is the ID for the record. Okay, so this is the ID for the record over here. Correct. So this record is getting displayed because we are populating that Burlington record in the this contact record. Okay, here you can see account name. Correct. Now, for that, I want to make that flow in such a way that if suppose I'm inserting that flow in this accounts record, that flow will be there. Then that will be that automatically it should get reflected in the contact. So how is that possible? Um, for that, we need to create one more resource over here. So I'll click on the new resource. Now, for the new resource, I'll select one variable over here. So what is this? Store a value that can be used and changed throughout the flow. So I'll be using this variable so that I can store that variable into some particular resource over there. So like I can add that value in the particular object as well. So what I'll be doing, I'll simply select the variable over here. Correct. Then it is asking me the API name. See, this is most important point. If you select this wrong, then it will throw an error. I'll write this all in the small words as an record, and I'll write the capital ID. Okay. So this is the record ID over here. Okay. So this is the record ID. Correct. This is the record ID. I am repeating again how I've written this. I've written the record in the small alphabets. Then I've written the I capital and D. Okay. Then I'll give some description. Select the related accounts ID. Okay. Select the related account ID, the accounts ID. So it will do that. Then it is asking for the data type. So ID is always in the text format. So I'll keep it as a text. Okay. Then if you want to give any default value, you can give the default value, but I don't want to give. Then I'll select then I'll select the availability outside the flow. What does this means? If suppose I'll check this checkbox for the available for the input as an for if suppose I'm checking this checkbox available for input. So what will it do? Because if you select this, you will be receiving their request. You will receive their records ID outside the flow. You will receive the IDs outside the flow. If you want to receive that values outside the flow, then you have to select the available for input. If I'm selecting available for output, that means if you want to throw the value, if you want to throw the value of variable outside the flow, then you will have to go for the available for output. I'm repeating once again. See, if I'm selecting the value available for input, what does it does? You will be receiving their records ID, outside the flow. Records ID will be the outside the flow. If you want to receive that value outside the flow, then you will selecting this. Then, if you want to throw that value, if you want to throw that value of variable outside that, then you can select this available for the output. For now, I'm selecting the available for input only. Okay. So if suppose I give some input, it should get stored over there. So I'll click on the done button. Okay. So as soon as I'm clicking on the done button, here you can see I have created one variable as an record ID. Correct? I have created as an record ID. So what I'll be doing, I'll simply go to this selected contact fields which I have there in the create records. So I'll open up this. Okay. As you can see the fields which we have mapped. Now we need to map one more field, which is the account ID. How it will get linked to that account from the mapping only. Okay, so I'll click on the add field over here. Now I'll be adding the account ID. So I'll be selecting the account ID. So here you can see there is an account ID. So just click on that account ID, and that account ID will be mapped with the variable which we have created. So which variable we created? Record ID, right? So here you can see the record ID. So just click on the done button. Okay. So now everything is done from our side. So just click on the save button. Okay. Just click on the save button. Then try to debug this. Let's see whether now it is opening or not. Still, it is facing some problem. I don't know why it is doing that. Instead of debugging this or quickly run this, still it is not running as well. So let me do one thing. Let me make it as an activate. Okay. And then we'll see. Okay. So now here you can see we have activated the flow. Now let's try to debug once again. Still it is not showing. Okay. Auto layout. I told you, if you want to change this to free form, you can simply select this free form over here. So here you can see it is converted to free form. So if you want to arrange this in this way, you can simply arrange this with flow. Okay. So whatever the flow, whatever the way you want, you can simply create that flow. Okay. Is it fine to know this thing? Okay. I don't know why that debug is not running. We'll see that after some time as well. For now, we just add this component to that accounts record page. Okay, so let's see whether it is creating or not. So let's refresh this page once again. We'll edit the accounts record page. Okay, how we can edit that? Simply go to the account. So if suppose I'm moving to the one particular record over here, okay, and then I'm clicking on this gear icon, then I'm clicking on the edit page over here. So click on the edit page. After clicking on the edit page, what you need to do, it is still loading. That edit page will take some time to display that. Meanwhile, we'll see the flows which we have created, right? So we'll go back over here. So I'll keep in save. Now, if suppose I'm clicking on save as, it is asking whether you want to create the new version or whether you want to create a new flow. So it is better to keep in the new version. Okay. See, here you can see this is V1. So that was the version 1. Now, if suppose I'm saving this one, clicking on save as, and here it is showing that a new version. So I'll click on the save. So it will create the new version of that record. So here you can see V2. So this is the version 2 over here. Okay. So I'll make it as an activate. Okay. As soon as I'm making this activate, so now the version 2 will be in work. So here you can see version 2 is active now. Okay. Now let's see whether this debug is working for that. No, fine. I'll show you that how does that debug works. Okay. So for now, just go to that account record page. So here you can see, uh, let me draw it down. So here you can see there is an flows present over here. Okay. Here you can see all the standard components which are there in this particular page. You can, if you want to add any page, you can simply drag that page and you can add it over here, right? So for now, I just want to add flow. So what I'll be doing, I'll simply select the flow over here and I'll place it over here. Sorry, I need to place it below this. Oh, sorry, it went inside. So again, I'll select this flow and I'll, okay, below that. Now it is asking which flow is it. So I'll, this is not my book appointment. So this is not my flow. So I'll select the flow which we have created, right? Contact records to account. So I'll select that, correct? So now that it is getting displayed over here, here you can see one column layout. Okay. Now I'll try to save this. So it is asking me whether you want to activate or not. So I'll click on activate. Okay. Now it is asking whether you want to keep this org as a default. So I'll keep an assign as a default. Then I'll keep it for the desktop and phone. Then click on next. Then it is asking for the desktop and phone. Then I'll click on save button. Okay. So now it is being activated. Okay. Now I'll go back. I'll go back. I'll scroll down. Here you can see the flow which we have created. It is getting displayed over here, right? So now, for now, here you can see there are two records which are there present over here. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll click on the name. So if suppose I'm giving the name as an Nadeem over here, okay, then the last name, then the lead source is asking. So I'm selecting the lead source as well. So I'll give the lead source as an partner referral and click on next. So as soon as I'm clicking on that, it is not creating that record. That should contact record should get displayed over here. Why it is not getting displayed? See, if I'm giving some name over here, then that record should get reflected over here. In that, something is missing in that flow. Okay, let me check with this flow and I'll come back with this. Okay. So we have seen that how we can manage these things. If it is any the error over there, then I'll sort it out and I'll show you this once again. Okay. So no need to worry about that. If it is not working, then I'll see that how I can manage that work with the flow. So now we have seen that how we can do with this standard. Now we'll see that how we can manage that flow with the custom object. Okay. So let's quickly create with the custom object, then we'll see that what error we are facing over there. So let me close all this tab and let me create the tabs. That's why it was not creating that debug over there. That if testing is going on correctly, then we can manage that perfectly over there. If it is not running that debug, then we'll face that problem. Then quickly click on the gear icon, click on this setup. I think so. I should have refreshed that page, but let's see how it worked. For the flows, I'll go for the flows, then click on the flows. Okay, I'll quickly open the application also for the organization management. Okay, so this will work for the our organization now. So let us create the flow for that custom object, activities and employees. Okay, so we need to select the activities. So in the activities, which are the fields mandatory? Let's see. So if suppose I'm selecting this indoor and outdoor. So for now, just make it Let me make this record type as an inactive for now. Okay, I'll quickly go to the edit page. In the edit page, I'll scroll down to the record type. Okay, I'll inactive that record type for now. So let's see. Okay, so let's move to this indoor. Click on the edit. Okay, then I'll save this. So it is saying that you can't to deactivate it. Okay, so let me make keep it as it is, whatever it is there. Okay, so let's go back. So it is active only. Okay, so let's go quickly and see how we can manage the things. So okay, so let's move to the flows, and in the flows we'll create one flow over here. Click on the new flow. I'll quickly create this flow now. So the screen flow is selected. Okay. In the screen flow, I'll add the element. Now I'll take what I'll do. I'll create the two flows, two screens over here. So like I'll select the property one, and in the property one, it will take the API name. Then I'll remove these footers from here. So like I don't want that footer. Uh, pause and previous, right? So I'll hide that previous and I'll hide that pause also. Okay, so only finish is there. So I need to add some field over here. So let us go to the activity field and see what fields are there which are mandatory. So if I'm selecting the indoor, okay, then I'm quickly moving to the game. Employee is there, start date is there, and the coach is there, right? So these three fields are mandatory. So what I'll do, I'll simply select the start date and coach over here, and I'll select the game as well. Okay, so for now, just have to create the coach start date. So I'll select the in the flows, I'll select the text. Okay, so how I can select the text? Simply coach is the text file, right? So I'll select the text from here. So the data type for the coach is text, right? So I've selected the text. So what I'll be doing, I'll give the label same as it is, coach over here. Then it will take the API name. Then if I want to make it as in required, I will make it. Okay. Then I don't want to do anything of the from this component visibility, validate and provide help. So I'll keep it as it is. Then another data type is the date. So I'll keep it as in date. Okay. Then here you can see it is asking for the label as in date. So I'm giving the start date as in over here. Correct. So it will select the start date. Correct. Then if I want to make it as in required, so I'm giving as in required over there. Then I'm quickly clicking on the done button. I have created this two thing. I know that I have left with the pick list as I told you. So I'll create one more screen. We can create multiple screens in the flows. Okay. So I'm selecting another element over here. Then I'm selecting the screen. So okay, I'm giving this label for up now. So like I have to select the pick list. Okay, I'll create it one more property which is property one, property two. Sorry, property two. Then the API name. Then the header. I want to remove this. Just I will keep the uh, finish only. Okay, so I'll remove this. Hide pause. Then I'll hide that previous as well. So I had previous. Okay, now it's done. Now I'll select the pick list. So pick list, which is there for the game, right? So I'll click on the pick list and I'll give the label as in game. Okay, then it will automatically take the game as an API. Correct. Now it is asking for the choice. So I need to select the choice which is there already default over there. So I'll select the new choice resource, and in the new choice resource, I'll select the pick list as I've selected for the accounts and contacts as well. So what I'll be doing over here, I'll select the give the API name. The API name will be uh, activity activity record. Okay, so I've just given that. I'll leave this description. I have to select the object. So which object we are working on? The activity object, correct? So we'll work for the activity. Here you can see the underscore C was there, right? And let me show you again. Activity, activity. Here you can see there is an activity underscore underscore C, which is the custom component, custom object. So I'll select that. Then it is asking for the data type, which is the pick list. Okay, then the field, which is the game, right? So here you can see the game. Okay, then I'll click on done. So I have created one pick list value over here, right? Then I'll simply click on done. So I have created the two screens over here, right? So after creating this screen, so I'll select the save. So now what I want, I will select the activity records to the employee. So I'm clicking on save. Okay, as soon as I'm clicking on save, it is getting displayed. Now let me try with this debug. Now still why this is happening, I don't know with this org. Let me do this thing. If it is not working again, I'll log out this page and I'll log in once again. Okay. So now for now, I have created these two properties over here. And I'll show you once again. I'll create one more resource from here. So I'll click on the add element. After clicking on the add element, what I'll be doing, I'll create the record. So for now, I have to map that fields, right? So again, I will create that records. So create records element, I'll selecting. Then I want that records to map. So fields to, I'm just giving the label over here, fields to map. Okay, simply I'm giving the label and it is taking that. Then it is asking how many ways to create one. Then use the all values to values from a record to create the record, or you want to give separate resource. So I'll select the separate resource, correct? Then create the records for which object. You have to create the records for the activity, right? So you'll select the activity. As soon as you select the activity object, you need to add the fields, right? Which fields you have selected? Till now, there was the start date, right? So we'll select the start date and the screen value was start date as well. So select the start date. Then again, add the field, which was the coach, right? So select the coach from here. And also we have given the screen name as an coach. Okay. So select the coach. Then again add the fields which is remaining over here. The another field was game, right? So select the game from here and enter the value as in game, right? So these three fields are being added now. Now I'll click on done. Now these things are done. Still, I don't think so. This debug will run. No, it is not running. Why? I don't know. Okay. So this is fine now. So we have created the field mapping as well. Now, let me save this as well. Okay, as I have saved this, now again I have to create one. I have to create one variable, a resource, right? I have to create one resource with a variable so that that records will be displayed into the related record object, right? So let me log out this before doing this thing. If I'm not able to do, then it is very difficult to show you that how that things are getting managed over here. So let me close all these tabs present over here. Let me see whether that another org is working with these things or not. Okay, so if it is working, then it is fine for another org. If it is not, then I'll show you in the some another org. Okay, So if suppose I'm moving to the this org, okay, let me check with this org that is working or not. So let's see which application it is having in the app launcher. Click on the view all. Okay, not this one I needed. Associate project. Okay, so let's see in the object manager. In the object manager, let's see with these apps over here. Okay, so we'll do one thing. I'll show you one flow over here. If this is if this is debugging, that means something error is there in that org. Okay, so let me check with the flows in this. So let's go to the home tab. Then in the home tab, I'll select the flows over here. Simply select the flows. Then account to flow. Uh, just click on these. Let me open any org and let me see that whether they are working. So if suppose I debug this, so it is asking over here, then why it is not running for my org, I don't know. Okay, so let me open up that cohort program once again, and let's try to open that flow. So I'll click close all these things, close all this tab. Let's move to our org. So the username, I'll select the cohort program once again and click on login. Then go to the home tab and then again flows, then click on the flows. Then we have created activity records to employee, right? So just click on that. Correct. Now just click on the debug. Again, this org is having something problem in this. I don't know why. Uh, Same flow I have created in, like, let me show you. If it is working with this, it is fine. If it is not working, then I'll show you that how does this work with this configuration. Okay. I don't know why this is happening with this org, but let me show you this. If it is working with this, then it is fine. If it is not working, then I'll show you in another org. Okay, so let me go to this manager and let me create one variable for this, as this is the activity to employ, right? So property one, property two, I have created any variable? No. So click on the new resource. So I'm clicking on the new resource as a variable. Then I'll give the API name, which is the record ID. Then I'll click it over here. Then data type as an text, which is the record ID is always at the text format and only. Okay, so I don't want to give any default value, so I'll click on the available for input and then I'll click on done button. Okay, so I have created the a variable resource. Okay, then I'll go again back and map the field over there. So just scroll down, click on the add field. Now I'll select the field from here. Now here you can see it is the asking for the employee, or it is asking for the record type ID. So it is related to employee. So I'll select the employee over here. Then it is asking the value, so I'll select the record ID. Correct? So I'll select the record ID and then I'll click on the done button. Okay. So I've done with this. Now let me check whose mic is off on. Nadim, you have unmuted yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we are done with this. Now let's save this once again. Save as. We will be saving this as a new version. So click on save button. Then let's try once again. No, this is not working. So, okay, fine. Now it is showing something over here. Okay. Now let's see whether this works or not. Now it is asking for the record ID which is there. So let's go to the application over here. So let me go to the RR quickly, organization management. So finally it is displaying that debug. Okay. Now let me show you. If I click on the employees over here, and if suppose I am clicking on the Tarkish over here, and here you can see there is an ID. So I'll just copy this ID over here. So here you can see this ID. So I'll copy this and I'll move to the this option. So it is the debug option present over here. Okay. So here you can see run the latest version of the each flow called the subflow. So as we have selected the another version, so which was the version 2, and now again the second option is the show details for the executed and render the flow runtime. Correct. So now here you might be seeing that this is the this will show you the details of the how does it runs. Okay. So I'll click on the record ID and I'll paste that record ID over here. Then I'll click on the run option, run button. Now it is displaying me some options over here. So now here you can see it is asking for the coach. If suppose I'm adding some name over here, okay, like if suppose I'm adding the label as in Prasad, then the start date. So if I'm selecting any random date over here, then I'm clicking on the next button. Then it is asking me the options of the game. So I'll simply click on the drop down. Then it is displaying that values over here. If suppose I am selecting the cricket over here, then it is coming for the next. Then it is showing some error. An unhandled fault has occurred while processing the flow. Please contact your administrator for more information. Let me check what is happening over here. So screen 2, property 2, drop down game, label data type text, the choice selected at runtime. So this next, this uh, game screen 2 is creating some problem. Why? Because there was a record type. As I was trying to remove that, so it was not able because there was some values in that. So what I'll be doing this with this, I'll simply delete this element. Okay, for now I'll show you. Okay, so let me delete this property, this element. You can't delete the screen flow. Remove all the references to the screen and try again. Okay, so I'll remove the references from here. So okay, from before that I need to remove from here. So click on the remove this from the game. So let me remove this from here. Okay. Now I'll click on done. Now I'll try to delete it from here. So, okay, one element is deleted. Now let us try to debug this once again. So I'll click on debug. Okay. Now after debug, it is asking for the record ID. And again, I am clicking on run. Okay. So now coach. So coach is like not the Tarkish again. So the coach, I'll select it as a Sandeep. Start date, any random date. Then I'll click on next. Then again, it is displaying the game. Why? I've deleted that screen. I haven't saved this. Okay. So let me save this. Sorry for that. Now I'll need to run debug once again. Okay, now let us paste this, then run, then click on coach, some random name as in Rakesh. Then I'm selecting the random date, then click on next. Now here you can see the flow has successfully ran over here. So here you can see with the screen one, which is the property one screen, right? Suppose there is a text as in coach. So the label is coach. Then the value runtime. It is as soon as we are clicking on the debug, it is giving the details how it is getting run over here, right? So now here you can see the property is there, coach is there. So the label is given and the value at runtime is Rakesh, which we have given the value for the property one, correct? Then the start date, which was given any random date. So whatever the things which you have given the input in that field, it is getting displayed over here. Then we have clicked on the next button. Then the record is getting created with the field mapped, right? So in the activity object, the coach is getting automatically populated with the Rakesh. Okay, so the coach is coach name which we have given over there in the field. So we have selected that coach as name as in Rakesh over here. Then we have selected employee ID. Which employee ID we have selected? The employee ID which is the Tarkesh record, right? So we have selected that record. Then it is selected the start date which is getting the red. See, we have just given the input with the name. We have just given the employee ID. That's it only. Okay, if suppose I move for the find and I paste it over here, then here you can see that record is being created with that ID. Okay, now as soon as I have created one record for that activity, now let's check, go to the activity object. Okay, then let us refresh this page and let's see whether that record is having that coach or not with the name Rakesh. Okay, so here you can see in the details that ID was, as I have taken the ID of Tarkesh, so it is displaying as in Tarkesh. And then if the date was selected as an 8th of August, so it is selecting the date and the coach is getting populated with the Rakesh. So the record is successfully created, correct? So the record is successfully created. Which record? For the record as an Tarkesh. So if suppose we go to the employees record, and if you move to the Tarkish record over here, you can select the Tarkish record. In the related list, you can see that record number 006. So here you can see either scroll down and see the activity 006 is getting reflected. If this is possible, then that means that our flow is working correctly, right? So that pick list was creating a problem because there was a record type which was considered as an indoor and outdoor games, right? So for that, again, we need to take that record ID and again we have to record type and then again we have to put some values and map that and then only it will be getting displayed, right? So but for now, we don't want to keep that pick list of that game, right? So we had removed the another screen. For showing purpose, I have simply taken that pick list. That was no any intention to create that. But if suppose you are creating this and if you want to add that flow over here, so you can add, as I shown you that how you can add, simply click on the gear icon, click on the edit page over here. Okay, so after editing that page, even that account and contact should work. I don't know why it was not working. We'll see that thing also. Okay, for now just finish with the work with this custom object now. So it is still loading as this page will get let take time so to open that page. I hope everyone is getting this flow. Okay, if any query related to this flow, please post it. Did you got this point? How does that is running? How is it running? Okay. Someone has posted that query. Let me check that query. What was that? Uh, Everyone getting this? How does this flow is running? Can you please reply? If you are not getting, see, I'll repeat this again. Why? Because this is important to know this automation. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll repeat. Okay. No, sir. And I'll repeat it once again. No worries. Okay. First, let me drag this component over here. Then I'll repeat it. Okay. See, this is important. If you are not getting, then please let me know. I'll explain you again this thing. I've added that flow. Now it is asking a record to activity flow. Yes, it is. So I'll click on the save button. I'll activate it. Okay. Now it is asking for the org default. Yes, I'll assign as an org default for the desktop and phone and click on next. Then I'll save this. Then I'll go back. As soon as I'm going back over here to that record. So now here you can see that flow. Okay. Now here you can see in the Tarkesh's record related list. If suppose you are there, here you can see in the activities, there is one record present over here. Now if suppose I am giving the label as an Ajay and the start date I'm selecting as in 29th and I'm clicking on the next. Okay. Then it is asking for the game again. Why it is asking for the game? We have removed that flow from that. So let me check which flow is activated from there. So for we'll activate that thing. No need to worry about that. I haven't activated this, so that's why it is getting problem with that. So as soon as I'm activating, that will work over here. So let me refresh this page. Control Shift R. So as soon as I'm refreshing this page, now that will not show me the game option. So I'm refreshing this page. Now let's see in the employees record related list. So in the related list, I'll click on the coach. Okay, in the coach, what I'll be doing? I'll be doing selecting the coach as an J again, then the start date as in 29, then click on next. Again, it is showing an unhandled error. So let me explain you that thing, then I'll come back to this. Okay, so let's go to the activity. Then let me go take you to the flow. Okay, so now please pay attention, guys. I am explaining it again. Okay, so now see, if suppose I'm taking one screen, why I'm taking one screen? Because I need to create that fields which are there in the activities object, right? So here you can see there is in the activities, you can see in the new, if suppose I'm clicking any random way over here, then here you can see these three fields are mandatory, right? Employee, start date, and coach. Please make sure whenever the fields are mandatory, then that field should be there in that screen flow. Okay, whenever the fields which are mandatory, that field should be there in that screen. Okay, again I am repeating, these three fields are mandatory in the activity. That's why these three fields should be there in that screen flow to run that flow, right? So they remember these three fields which are employee, start date, and coach, right? So save. So I'll cancel this. So what I'll be doing over here, my perspective is that I should take all these three fields should be visible in my this flow, right? So what I've done over here, I've simply went over here and the coach field, which was the text field, right? So I've selected this text field over here. In the component, I've selected the text component, which was the text data type, right? So I've selected the text data type and I've labeled that as an coach and I made it as an required, right? Why I'm making it required? Because it was mandatory over there. And if you are, I am not giving it, is that is also fine, but I'm giving it required because there is a in the activity there it is required. So I've selected the coach as an component. Then moving to the start date, that was also mandatory. So I've selected that also. So again, I'm moving to that screen. and I have simply added that as an date component over here. So as I have selected the date component, it is coming with the start date, right? So till here everything was clear, right? So I have selected simply two fields present over here, right? Then I have made this start date as an required as well, right? I haven't made any changes over here. I haven't made any default value over there, and I have simply created the property one element with the screen, right? Now what I have done, I have simply click on the add button, and from the add button, what I had done, I have simply selected the create records. Okay, why create records? Because I want to map that fields with the activity fields, right? So how I can add that fields? So simply here you can see, I have simply what I had done over here is like I have simply used the how many records I need to create. So I have selected one, and why? Because I need to create just one record only. So I have given the name as an field to map over here, correct? Then it is asking me how to set the records fields. So I have simply selected the use separate resource and literal values so that you can easily map it, correct? So I have simply selected this option. So it was displaying me the object. So object name was activity, right? So I've selected the activity object. Then which fields I have created in the screen flow. So I have created this to coach and start date. As it was the coach was a mandatory and start date was also mandatory. So I have mapped that two flows, screen flows, screen element, screen components with the components which are there in the activity object, right? So these are getting mapped with this two flows, and it is showing that employee also. Why this is getting displayed employee? Why? Because there was a relationship between the activity and employee, which is a master detail. So that's why it is the mandatory field in the activity object for the employee. Correct. So for that I need an employee ID, right? So what I'll be doing, I have created the simply one record type variable over here. So in that record, what I have done, I have simply created one variable which was having the variable ID. So I have created that API name in such a way that it is having the record ID, right? So I have created the record ID. And what I have done, I have just came to this create records. After coming to this creating records, so it is having the activity has having the relationship with the employee object. So that's why it get displayed on the employee object, right? So it is getting displayed with the employee, correct? So this employee is having the record ID. So I want the ID of that particular record, right? Particular object record. So I've selected that map ID, the variable ID which I've created. So I mapped that ID with the employee object, correct? So here you can see simply I click on the done. Now that was the easy work which we have done. And then what I have done, simply saved and debug. So after clicking on the debug, now if suppose I'm clicking on the debug option, here you can see it will getting displayed over here. Now it is asking me the record ID which you have created. You should apply for that because we are debugging this, right? So to debug this thing, we should have some value over there. So for that record, we should have some ID. So how we can have that ID? Simply going to the activities. Previously, we have selected the Tarkish record. Now we'll select some another record, which is the Rakesh record, right? Now in the Rakesh record, what I'll be doing, I'll copy this ID. Okay, I'll copy this record ID and I'll move to flow over here. So what I'll do, I'll paste it that record ID and I'll click on the run option, run button, right? Now it is asking me for the coach. So what I'll be doing, I'll simply select the coach now, this time as in Tarakesh. Okay, so as I have created as an coach as an Tarkesh, so I'll select the date. So date will be 24th of August, and then I'll click on next. Now here you can see the record is being created, and the record ID which I have selected here, you can find that ID as well. Okay, I'll select this ID. So this ID I have done Control F, and that I pasted that ID. So I need to check whether that is created or not. So here you can see in the description, everything is perfectly ran over here. And after clicking, I have simply given an input over here and I clicked on next. And after clicking on the next, here you can see it has generated the employee also. In that employee, that record is getting created. Okay. So now here you can see we have created this in the Rakesh record, right? So let's go to the Rakesh record and let's see whether it is having that Tarkesh record in that related or not. So let's go in the related and let's see it is having. So here you can see with the 007, if suppose I am opening this record, so it will show the Tarkesh as an coach over here, right? And I have selected the 24th August, correct? Now, is it clear for everyone? Is it clear for everyone? Please answer. Employee mapping is mandatory because that field is mandatory in that activity object that is having the master detail relationship between them. See, if you are not taking that related account side, related field ID, then how it will get displayed over there, right? So that's why we have taken that. See, I can see the lots of yes answer is there. So, okay, so I can see that everyone got this point, right? So, okay, now it is clear. Now let us rectify this why it was not running over there in the employee object. Now suppose I am moving to this record, okay, and I am simply creating one coach over here, and I am simply selecting any random date. An unhandled error fault occurred while processing the flow. Please contact your system administrator for more information. So what I'll be doing, I'll save as another version, and for the newer version, I'll save it. Okay. Then I'll activate this version as well. Okay. Now let us go back. If you want to see which version is working, which version is not working, so what you have to do is you can see this. This is the flow which we have created, right? So simply click on this drop down button. Here you can see the view details and versions. So just click on that. Just click on view details and versions. So it will get displayed over here. So here you can scroll down. So these are the three versions which are there in the org. So wherever you can see the deactivate option, so that means that flow is inactive. So version 3 is in working and version 2 and version 1 is not working. Okay. So here you can see simply we have activated that, and that is in the working condition, right? So that is the way you can run. And also if you want to add that flow, if you want to add that flow, why it is not running, refresh it. It will run, guys. Okay. So if you are working for this, you can do. If you want to try by yourself, do one thing. Just try to create for the account and opportunity. Okay. Just try it by yourself for the account and opportunity. Should I show you that thing also? Should I show that how that does that run for the account and opportunity? Please reply me so that should I do that for the account and opportunity? Okay. Okay. So what I'll be doing, I'm having less time as an 8 minute only over here. So for that, I'll quickly do this thing. Okay. So what I will do doing, simply go to the departments. No need to department. I have to create new flow, right? So I'll quickly go to the flows. I'll go back. I'll erase this. I'll close this all. Okay. I'll move to flows once again. Please pay attention, guys. New flow, screen flow. I'll be quick now. Now let me check that which are the mandatory fields in the opportunity. So sales, click on the sales, right? So please pay attention, guys. In the opportunities object, there might be some fields which are very mandatory over here. So this, let me change this list view table. Okay. So now if suppose I'm clicking on new, here you can see opportunity name, close date, and stage is mandatory over here. So these three fields are mandatory. So I need to take these three fields, right? So stage is having the multi pick list values. So what I'll be doing, simply go to the flow builder. I'll create one screen flow. So screen flow over here. So as I click on this screen flow, now what I need to do, uh, just I have to do one thing over here. So now what I'll be doing over here, so simply click on the, I have to select this field, right? So how I can give this label, simply giving the property name. Okay, then I'll be quick enough for that. So I'll done with this header part of it. Then I'll select the text. So what I'll be doing with the text, what I'll be doing, I'll select the name over here. Okay, so text. In the text, I should give some label. So I'm giving the name as it is having the name, which is the opportunity name, right? So I'm selecting that and I'm making it as an required. So I've done with this. Okay, then the another is the date, right? So I'll select the date. Which date was that? Which date was that? Close date, right? So I'll click on the close again. I'll give the label as a close date only. So again, I'm giving the close date. Okay, so I've created the close date. Then I'm making this required. Then I have done with this date as well. So now again, there is an option with the pick list data type, right? So I need to create the pick list. The pick list is the with the stage. So I'm selecting the stage over here, right? Stage, and then I'm making it as in required, which is there mandatory as well. So what I'll be doing, I'll keep it as it is. I'm not removing any footer and all. As I've previously I've shown you that how you can remove that. Then I'll click on the done button. So it is showing that it is having one error over here. So where is the error? Invalid input stage label API. Okay, so one resource is remaining with the choice. So we need to create the choice so that it will take the automatic values which are there in the opportunities, right? So for that, I need to create resources. So whatever the values which are there in the standard object, like in the opportunity object with the stage, it is having multiple values, right? So I need to take automatically that value. So I'll select that pick list choice set. Then I'll give the stage stage values. Okay, then after selecting the stage values, I need to select the object. So which object we are working on? Opportunity object, right? So I'll select the opportunity. So here you can see the opportunity object, right? Then it is asking for the data type. It is the pick list. So the field which is available for that is the stage, right? So here you can see there is a stage name. So I'll select the stage over here, right? Then I'll click on the done button. After clicking on the done button, now it is reflecting with the stage values, right? So it has automatically taken all the values which are present with the stage pick list. So it is displaying coming into this choice, right? Then I'll click on the done button. Now it is getting created, right? Now I need to create the records which will get reflected in the account object, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll select the add element, and after creating that add element, I'll create the records over here. So what I'm doing, I'm simply selecting the create records, right? So the create record, it is asking me, so opportunity to accounts. I'm simply giving the random names over here. Then it is giving one. Then again, I'll select create one record only. I don't want to create multiple records. So I've just selected one. Then use all the values from the record. Then from the records, then I'll select the use separate resources for the resources and literal values. So I'm select the object. So object name is opportunities, right? So I'll select the opportunity, which field I have to match. So I have created the three screen flows which were there for that. So first one is the opportunity name. So I'll select the opportunity name. name. So here you can see there is a name over here, then the values, then the name we have created over here, correct? Then again, I'll add the value, the field, which was close date, right? So again, I have entered the close date over here. So the close date for the screen. See, these are all the screen components which we have created, right? So it is showing the screen components only. Then we have selected the stage date. These are the fields which are there in the opportunity object, right? So the field name was stage. So here you can select the stage. Then the screen component name was stage, right? So select the stage from here, correct? So we have selected the stage. Now click on the done button, right? Now here you can see here, if you move to the new opportunity, here you can see there is a account name. If suppose we are not taking this account name, that means it won't go to this record of whatever the records which we are creating in the account object, it won't go to the account record which we'll be selecting. So for that, if to happen, what we need to do, we need to select some particular account name, right? So this record should be having some particular ID. So that ID we should get matched over there. So that ID should come as soon as we select the ID over there. So for that reason, we are creating one variable for that. So what we are doing over here, so simply we are selecting this flows. Okay. We are selecting over here. Then we'll create one variable. Okay. We'll create one new resource with the variable so that we'll get the record ID of that. So what I'll be doing, I'll give the three IDs. Okay, I'll simply select the not OPP ID, I'll give the ACC ID. Okay, then I'll give the before that, I need to give record ID only. Sorry, I'll give the record ID over here. As soon as I have given the record ID, then it is asking for the data type. So data type for the ID is text format, right? So ID is always in the text format only. So I have taken as a text format. Click on then no default values, then available for input. I am not giving any default value. Then I'm clicking on done button. So now it is done. Again, I have to map that employee ID so that it will get mapped with the record ID, right? So here you can see, not employee ID, account ID. So I need to add the account ID. So what I'll be doing, account ID. So here you can see there is an account ID. So I'll map that record ID which I've created, record ID with the account ID, right? So here you can see, now it is done, right? Now I'll save this. I'll give this opportunity record to account related list. Okay, so I'll do this and then save this. Okay, then it is fine for me. What I'll be doing, I'll debug this. Okay, now it is getting displayed. So from this, I'll select one account's ID so that I can see that whether it is running or not. So I'll simply select this Dixon PLC. So what I'll be doing, I'll select this ID from here. So I'll copy this ID. Okay. As soon as I'm copying this ID, so that I can paste it over here in this record ID. So what I'll be doing, I'll paste it over here. Okay. So if suppose I'm giving some name over here, or else I'm giving some filling some value. Okay. Then I'm giving some date over here. Then I'm giving some stage over here, right? Then I'm clicking on next. So here you can see that opportunity record is created. Now I have created the record with the name. Okay, so I have given some input, account ID, close date, and name. So name was sales executive, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll go to the Dixon PLC and let's see whether that has created an opportunity or not. So here you can see sales executive has been created and the stage as a need analysis and close date as an 1/8/2023. Okay, so now it is getting displayed over here. Now what I'll be doing over here, as this flow is getting placed over here in this record, Now let's see whether this is working for that or not. So what I'll be doing, click on the edit page. It time is already passed. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? Uh, let us load this page and let's see whether this flow is working for that or not. Okay. So I hope everyone is getting this flow, screen flow. Okay. So now here you can see each and everything. I have to add one more flow because it is representing another flow which is already there. So now let me go to this flow. I'll need to drag this flow once again. Okay, now here you can see it is a flow. Now it is asking me what is the label for that. So let me click over here. Activity record. Sorry, this is not the one. We have created the opportunity ID to so our flow name is let me see the flow name. Save as opportunity record. Sorry, I haven't activated, so I'll activate this now. Okay, now I'll go to the account record page. Let me go back with this. I'll remove this. Okay, I'll refresh this page. Okay, now let me add once again the flow. Okay, so now I'll click over here. I'll remove this. So let me remove this. Is it showing now opportunity? So here you can see opportunity record to account related list. Okay, now let's save this. Let's save this. Okay, now changes is being saved. Now we'll go back. I hope this works. So in the accounts, we have added that, right? So now let's give some name over here, like Sandeep, then close date, any random date, then stage name, perception analysis. So click on next. So it ran. So let's see whether that is reflecting or not in the opportunities. Let's refresh this. So that is working. Actually, that is working, but it is what it is the problem with this to load that, I don't know. It will work. Let me click on view all. So still it is showing two only. So in this way, I hope everyone got this. It will take some time to execute. Okay. After executing, it will definitely work. Okay. Okay. So still it is there. So it will work. Okay. So no need to worry about that. So that is the scenario. How it does work for the screen flow. I hope everyone got this point. If it reflects, I'll show you tomorrow. Okay. Everyone got this? How does it work? I activated actually. I activated that flow. Here you can see there is active. Okay, let me stop the recording first.
Recording stopped.
So in this way, you will be creating the screen flow. Yeah, I need to check with the page layout, I guess. Yes, so this is the thing which you need to do. Yeah, we'll be uploading soon. Okay. And see, guys, I have one thing to where I want to say. Some people are creating random groups over there in the Slack. We are not creating that group. Okay, from our side, whatever the queries which you are having, you can just post it into the as you are for the developer track, right? So you just have to go for the developer track and there you have to post the queries over there, right? So please don't create the random groups on the Slack channel, okay? So that is just specially for the people who have any queries, so you can identify, so we can rectify your queries, right? So please don't post the any groups over there, okay? Whatever the queries are there, mentors will be resolving that queries on that channel only, okay? Links were shared already, okay? Please practice these flows, okay, by yourself, and have a good day. We'll meet by tomorrow with the new topic, and we'll start some developer part as well from tomorrow, okay? So please be there.